Welcome back, Ultimate fans. Continuing with what we've been talking about a lot this offseason, it's really the big stories that are happening each and every week, and that is signings. And we're going to continue with that kind of segment as we move forward in the next couple episodes. But today we're going to focus down in the Atlantic. Atlanta Hustle has signed Jakeem Polk to the roster, and I think this is something that's going to change the way that defense has been running. Someone who has just kind of exploded into the Ultimate scene, came from football, moved to Ultimate, and as you can see has developed very well over the years. They have a very interesting style of defense that Atlanta has been putting forth, similar to what Madison does. It's very zony. They try to slow down the offense and make it so that you have to take a long time to score. Puts more pressure on the offense, but allows them to then keep games close and allows them, for teams that may be a little more skilled and athletic, to slow them down and put them in a different type of style of play. And now having someone like Jakeem Polk in that defensive line, which I'm assuming is where they're going to put him, he's really going to be a key defensive player. If you've watched how that defense is played over the years, it's a lot of swinging with the offense. The handlers are moving side to side, and then they finally get that hammer across field to break through the wall, and then they move and score. Usually that's the typical way to break through this Atlanta defense. I think adding someone like Jakeem Polk back there, he's going to kind of bait those hammers, and those hammers are going to have to be even more perfect than ever before, because the speed that he has, he's going to get there so much quicker than any other player has ever done on that team before. Something that Atlanta really needs right now is that pure athleticism, especially on defense, to get the turns, to cause that anxiety on offense, to know that, that looks good, but they're going to second guess each throw with Jakeem Polk back there. And just that little bit of hesitation, if that hammer isn't perfect, or they're looking to go deep and they feel confident, having that kind of hesitation is really going to startle that offense. It's going to cause them to stutter and have some second guesses and change the way they approach this Atlanta defense. So a huge signing for them. And Jakeem Polk, welcome to Atlanta. Excited to have you. Sticking with Atlanta, we have another exciting signing and someone who you expect to come back each year. Always great to have him, and that is Matt Smith. Something unique about Matt Smith too is he's not someone who's traditionally from the Atlanta area. Someone who came down in, tried out the first year, and got on the team just because of his pure athleticism and ability to work hard, try hard. And now to have him back, it's also a great show of what this guy's done for the AUDL. He's been in the AUDL since 2012. Part of the Rhode Island Rampage, now has come down to Atlanta Hustle. And I mean, look at that first year. He was explosive. A lot of people just weren't used to playing someone like him, and he was just beating people downfield constantly. They were giving him the deep look and he'd take it, and then before you knew it, they're like, we're not going to catch this guy. And as you can see, teams have evolved over the years. Matt Smith isn't getting those deep shots as much as he probably would like, but he's really transformed that offense. Now they'd rather let Matt Smith give the unders, but the thing about Matt Smith is he doesn't turn over the disc. He gets that disc under, he feeds it back to the handler, or he continues it up the field. He's a consistent thrower. So him on this team, especially on offense, this is a crucial thing for Atlanta. Like we said earlier with their defense, they like to slow the game down, which puts more pressure on this offense to succeed. But having someone like Matt Smith, who has been a part of this Atlanta Hustle team since the beginning, he knows how to work this offense. He's used to the pressure. And now having someone like Jakeem Polk on defense may give them a little bit more confidence to know that, you know what, if we do mess up, there's a better chance this year we're going to get the disc back. Our defense is going to make points. They're going to get on the board. They're going to get breaks. Big year for Atlanta Hustle. And having someone like Matt Smith, I mean, there's some tremendous people on this roster. But I really wanted to note Matt Smith because not only is he just a vital part of this Atlanta offense, but someone who has been with the AUDL since the very beginning. He has more experience than anybody. We're always loving having him back on the team. Once again, Matt Smith back with Atlanta Hustle, looking to make a big run this year in a new division and hopefully get into playoffs. Moving up to the East, one of the biggest signings so far, or at least in the last week, and that is Marques Brownlee has re-signed with the New York Empire. We're going to talk a lot about him in our next segment, but once again, New York, they're just building that dynasty right back up. I mean, this team is poised to get another championship, to be the second team to get back-to-back championships. This is their year. This is the guy they want. He's made incredible moves with this team. He's developed himself. He's always been a great player, but he's really found his way into this team and found his role. He's great on both sides of the disc. This is another big signing for New York, and we're going to talk a lot about Marques in our next segment here as we move forward. But that's the big signings of the week. Starting to get to that point now where we're seeing full rosters come out. We're probably going to stop hearing about signings, and we're going to get prepped with the actual season, which is just around 30 or so days away. We're getting closer and closer each week, and these teams, I think, are very excited to get out on the field and start playing. So let's talk more about MKBHD. Marques Brownlee, a credible Ultimate player, has been a part of this community for a very long time. Someone I think we really want to talk, let's break down his career in professional Ultimate and kind of where he he sits in the Ultimate world as a player and as a figure of himself. You have to look now, when the pro scene started, there were two leagues, the AUDL and the MLU. The AUDL showed up in 2012, and then right after in 2013, the MLU started their own league. And that's when you saw Marques Brownlee make his first move. He jumps into the MLU, I think became Defensive Player of the Year in his first year. Doesn't really surprise a lot of people. He's a great Ultimate player. Yes, he's more famous outside of that with his own YouTube page. He's already a superstar status, and then within the Ultimate community, he's always been a great player as well. Now, is he on that top tier? I would say if you look at all of in the AUDL, I would put him in the top 50 for sure as just great players, athletic. I mean, if you look at USAU as a whole, he might not be in that top 50, but I would definitely say of all Ultimate players right now, purely for their skill and how well and how athletic they are, their knowledge of the game, he's definitely one of the top 100 players of all time. Now, go back to MLU, does a great job there, plays well, and then he kind of moves over to the AUDL after the MLU folds. We see him in Philadelphia that first year, and this is what I mean by he is truly someone who deserves a lot of Ultimate credit. He comes into the Philadelphia Phoenix, a team that's kind of been struggling for the last few years, and all of a sudden he shows up on the team, and you see they win, I think 3 times more than they did before. I think they only had 1 or 2 wins, and they end up winning 4 to 5. A truly big jump for the Philadelphia Phoenix with really just signing someone like Marques Brownlee. He had some of the most amazing plays. He had one of the highlight plays for a layout goal in the end zone that was replayed over and over and over again by the AUDL. Really can make big plays and transform a team. Now, is he going to take your team by himself to a playoff or move right into a championship? I don't think so. But that's when you start to see that part really develop when he moved to New York Empire. Here's someone who you put in a system with other great players around him, and the whole team just starts to elevate. He has a fun energy. I think people love playing with him. You don't really hear a lot of back talk about him or if he's trying to take someone else's thunder. He comes into a team, he says, where do you want to put me? Where do you think I'm going to be most successful? He's someone who's going to give you everything he's got, and if you put him in the right position, and if you have a coach like Brian Jones who knows where he can place him, where he's going to be successful, and he's going to allow everyone else around him to be successful. And we've seen that now. He's going into his 3rd season with the New York Empire. The first 2 years he was incredible, and last year did even better than ever before. So someone I think who truly deserves to be recognized as a great Ultimate player. But now let's jump into kind of his personal life. Something that now he's done. He's one of the most successful YouTubers out there. He has made himself very successful, and he's probably the only true superstar in Ultimate right now. And it's not necessarily because of his Ultimate ability, but who he is. Someone like him who has been on the Joe Rogan podcast. Joe Rogan learned about Ultimate from him. He's someone who really is, when I say ambassador, he is the ambassador of our sport right now. He is getting the most exposure to everyone. So when people who don't really know Ultimate, they might actually know it because they've watched MKBHD on YouTube and they go, oh wow, he says he's an Ultimate player. I don't even know what that is. Then boom, they're kind of going over to the AUDL. Now, are we getting massive fans from that? I don't think so, but we're getting exposure. And I think that's what he really brings to the AUDL and Ultimate. He's someone who is a superstar. I mean, tremendous person in his own way and in his own sphere of influence. And yet here he is playing the sport that most people in this world, especially the United States, don't even know exists. Here he is, a credible player, winning a championship, also very successful in his YouTube endeavors. Here's the person we want representing the AUDL. Look at championship weekend. He makes that spectacular grab at center field to get the dump and keep that offense alive. Immediately gets up, low line flick to the other side of the field, and it ends up with a score. And I remember that moment when they scored, I go, this is it. New York's going to win it. If that turn happens, that's the kind of thing Dallas thrives on. That could have changed that game completely. That moment worked so well, I think, for the AUDL and Marques Brownlee. This is something where it brought these two amazing worlds together. This is what I really wanted to talk about. We need people like this in our league. Yeah, we had Bill Nye do the coin toss. He's a famous person in his own right. Definitely has a lot of influence in the world. Someone like Marques Brownlee, he has that youth. He has the people who are tuning in who are young. They're watching him do his videos and they're slowly learning about Ultimate. This is the kind of thing we need if we want the sport to progress. Someone like this not only is just playing it because he likes it, but he's okay. He's a great player. He deserves to be in the top 100 of greatest Ultimate players that I've ever witnessed. And in the AUDL, I would say he's easily top 30. Awesome to have this guy return back to New York. Someone who I'm very interested to see if he progresses in the AUDL to become even more of a dominant force. I would say he's already at that level. He's someone who fills the roles, plays tremendously well, gives it his all, got a championship under his belt. How many more will he get? I don't know. But I think if he sticks with New York and this New York team continues to keep this dynasty together, they're going to be in championship weekend a lot for the next few years. And I think there's a couple more championships coming under their belt. But excited to have Marques Brownlee back again. I'm excited to see him grow in his YouTube endeavors and as well as in the AUDL to maybe one day even get the AUDL MVP and we have great influencers like Marques Brownlee out there promoting the sport and being excellent at it as well. That's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're getting bigger and better each and every week. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the AUDL Take.